Okay, I will share the presentation.
Nowadays, one they have given about the
Can you see the screen, students?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we had stopped here in the previous class. So let me go to the slideshow mode. Okay, the slide is visible to you, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so in the previous network edge, we had started network edge in the previous class. So we know what are the edge devices, and I told you what is an access network and physical media. Even we have a small discussion about network core also in the previous class. Okay, now access networks and physical media. I told you what is access networks. Basically, the way or technology in which your system is connected to the internet, or how do you get access to the network. That is called as access network. And I have given you some examples also, like dial-up network, DSL, FTTH. All those are examples of access networks, the technologies basically. So how to connect end system to an edge router? See, this is an end system. In the diagram, you can see. Please mute yourself. See, this is an edge system, and how this edge system is connected to a edge router. Edge router, in the sense, basically, students, the router which is actually the last point for you in your network. Okay, so see, this is your home network. In this router is the last point. Okay, sometimes your modem itself acts as a router. So that itself is the end device. Okay, I mean not the end device, basically the last point for you to reach the network. Okay, so that is called as a edge router. Okay, because that is connecting you to outside world, outside to the outside world, in the sense to the internet. So residential access network, institutional access networks, mobile access networks, these are different categories. Like in-house, what will be the access networks? In institutions or in companies, what will be the access network types? And in mobile networks, what will be the access network? Okay, so we have to keep in mind about the bandwidth, bits per second of access network, shared or dedicated. Okay, shared or dedicated. That means you have the bandwidth only for you, or it is shared among multiple users. Okay, so with this basic knowledge about access network, we will get into the different types of access networks. The first one, what you see here, is digital subscriber line, DSL. So you can please have a look at the diagram, students. Uh, you have this is, yeah.
Can you make everyone attend this, sir?
Okay, just a moment. I think I forgot to do that. Am I audible, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have made you all as attendees.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so okay. Is the slide visible, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, this is with respect to the digital subscriber line. So it's basically with a landline connectivity. Okay. So you can see here in your home network, there is a telephone. There is a telephone here, there is an end device, and that end device, the computer, is connected to a DSL modem, and a connection from the DSL modem and another connection from the telephone is coming to a splitter. You might have observed this in your home if you don't have FTTH. If you have digital subscriber line, you might have seen this. Basically, the BSNL connectivity all comes with the BSNL service providers comes with this kind of a setup. A phone which is connected to a splitter, a computer which is connected to a DSL modem, and that DSL modem is connected to a splitter. Okay, now these from the splitter, a connection will go to the central office, that is a telephone exchange. Okay, central office, and that There you see something called as DSLAM. Okay, which is basically this connectivity carries voice data transmitted at different frequencies over dedicated line to central office. That means you can speak over phone and also you can use internet, whereas the previous one, that is the dial-up network, used to have only one option at a time. Either you can speak over phone or you can use internet connectivity or data transmission. Okay, only one at a time. You are not allowed to use both in dial-up networks. That's the main disadvantage with the dial-up networks. That's why a new technology came into existence, that is digital subscriber line, where you can have both voice and data transmitted at different frequencies over a dedicated line. Is that clear? This is a DSL access multiplexer. Why it is a DSL access multiplexer? Because this DSL access multiplexer gets connectivity to multiple homes. You can see here there is an option here. It is a connection is going to a different home, another connection is going to a different home. Similarly, from multiple DSL modems, you will this DSL access multiplexer will get the connectivity, which is located in the central office, or you can also call it as telephone exchange, a telephone network. Is that clear? From there, the connection will go to a ISP, internet service provider. Is that clear? What is the detailed figures of this? Use existing telephone line to central office digital subscriber line access multiplexer. Data over DSL phone line goes to the internet. Voice over DSL phone line goes to the telephone network. You can see here, data and voice comes to this digital subscriber line access multiplexer. Here this access multiplexer will differentiate whether it is a voice or data. If it is a voice, it goes to the telephone network. If it is a data, it goes to the internet service provider. 2.5 Mbps upstream transmission rate and 24 Mbps downstream transmission rate. What is the difference between upstream and downstream, students? Please mute yourself.
Maybe the uploading and the downloading.
Yes, upstream and downstream refers to upload speed and download speed. Nowadays, internet connectivities come with same upstream and downstream, but basically we as a end users, we always do downstream. That's why you can see the downstream in DSL is high, which is 24 Mbps, whereas upstream is 2.5 Mbps. Why? What do you mean by upstream? We send a request, right? www.google.com. You are sending a request. That is an upstream. You are uploading something. You're uploading a request. Okay, that is upstream. Whereas downstream, you for that just small request, you will get a big web page, right? That is downstream. Most of the times, your downstream speed should be high because you download more rather than uploading. Okay, so that's why if you have a normal DSL connectivity, most of the times uploading will take more time, whereas downloading will be quick. Say for example, if you are uploading a file of 10 MB and you are downloading a file of 10 MB, downloading will be quick, whereas uploading will be slow. Okay. So that's about upstream and downstream. But if you nowadays check the ACT connectivity or Airtel, many service providers are providing both upstream and downstream, which are similar. Okay. So for example, if you are doing say for example video conferencing, both should be high because you have to see the other video, and similarly you have to upload your videos also. Okay, so in that case, upstream and downstream should be similar. Only then you will have a clear sync of communication. Okay, or peer-to-peer applications. Peer-to-peer applications in the sense you will be server sometime and you will be client sometime. It's not, there is no server and client model there. Server client model is basically where you send a request to the server, you get a response from the server. That is simple client server architecture. Whereas in peer-to-peer, there is no centralized server kind of thing. Every user is a server sometime, every user is a client sometime. You give data and take data. Okay. In that case, for client peer-to-peer applications, both upstream and downstream should be similar. Okay, not mandatory, but if it is similar, it will be good. Your connectivity, your data transmission will be good. I hope you understood about this downstream and upstream.
Sir,
Yeah.
could you like just brief again, like why is downstream higher?
See, I will ask you a question. In your data communication, like when you are using internet, are you going to download more or are you going to upload more?
Download more, sir.
Because most of the times you will be visiting web pages, right? What you are downloading there? You are downloading a HTML file there, web
Okay,
page
sir.
all the time, right?
Okay.
That's why downstream should be always high.
Okay, sir.
Got it?
So,
Okay. Yeah.
so you told the difference between DSL and dial-up is that in dial-up only one, uh, either the voice or the data can be transferred, no sir. But
Yes.
even here there is only one channel, no sir. Like, and it's going to a mux. So either like one of the two things only can be
No,
communicated.
no. Here, voice and data will be transmitted over different frequencies in the same channel. You can see here. See this. Voice and data transmitted at different frequencies over a dedicated line. Okay.
Okay, sir, but even then at a given point only one will be transferred,
No,
no sir.
no. See, in your home, if you have a BSNL connectivity or Airtel connectivity with a telephone, somebody can be over phone speaking to some other person, and in the parallelly you can do your data communication. Okay, that possibility is there.
Okay, okay.
Next thing is cable networks. This is quite a new technology we have come across. So see, cable networks. You have a say for example, there is a network provider Hathway. You might have come across Hathway. So Hathway is a cable network provider because the Hathway will provide you cable connectivity. Also, the Hathway can provide internet connectivity to you also. Okay, so you can see the diagram here. You have a system, you have a TV. System is connected to a cable modem, and TV is connected to a splitter directly, and this cable modem is connected to the splitter. Similar to your previous DSL modem, but instead of a normal modem, there will be a cable modem here. Okay, so like that, from many homes, this cable modem will be connected to a cable head end where that will be placed in a office. Okay, an exchange office, I can say. So like you will be getting the cable channels in different frequencies. Okay, different frequencies will give you different channels. Similarly, another channel will be there, will provide you the data connectivity. Okay, you can see the cable wire looks like this. It's a copper cable, basically insulated copper cable. Frequency division multiplexing. Okay, the concept here used is frequency division multiplexing. The other one is time division multiplexing. Don't worry about frequency division multiplexing and time division multiplexing now. We will be discussing in detail about frequency division and time division multiplexing later. So different channels transmitted in different frequency bands. That's what I told you. So when someone asked me a question previously, how different data and voice can be transmitted over a single channel. So similarly here also you can see even in the cable network also data and the videos will be transferred over a same channel but with different frequencies. Okay, so this cable head end located in the exchange office will collect multiple data from different cable modems at a time, and that will be given to a proper uh, service provider. Okay, so this is about cable networks. Yeah,
Sir,
so what are the, yeah,
the channels in the copper wire, are they like normal wires only, so that parallelly data and the video,
yes,
like audio or something, can be transmitted parallelly?
yes.
In the dial-up one only, so like in the dial-up one, many channels won't be there, sir. Like
No.
only single channel will be there, and
Yes,
even.
in dial-up, either you can have data connectivity or you can have telephone voice connectivity.
Okay.
Basically, I'll tell you how dial-up used to work. If you want to use data, there will be a number given to you. You have to take the receiver in your phone, and then you have to dial that number and then disconnect. So when you do that, a network will be allocated. I mean, a frequency will be allocated to you, and in that frequency, you are supposed to do the network connectivity. And once the network connectivity is in, when you are going through the network connectivity, you will not get any phone calls at all. Okay. Once your work with the internet is done, again you have to disconnect it so that the telephone will work. That was the problem with dial-up networks. I think you all might have not seen that. Even when I was very young, I have seen it in couple of places. That's all. After that, it's a very old technology. After that, we had DSL modems. Now, most of the connectivity is FTTH or cable networks. So let's see the figures of cable network. So it is a hybrid fiber coaxial cable, not copper. Okay, please make the change. Hybrid fiber coaxial cable. So it's an asymmetric up to 30 Mbps downstream transmission rate, 2 Mbps upstream transmission rate can be provided with the cable networks, and it is improved now. Even 100 Mbps also can be given. Network of cable fiber attaches homes to internet service providers, router. Homes share access network to the cable head end. That's what I told you. Like DSL, which has dedicated access to central office, similar to the DSL. Is it clear, students, about the cable networks? Have any doubts with the cable network?
Sir, in the previous slide, when you showed the channel, sir, every TV channel has a separate channel in the cable, or in this one,
Separate
sir?
frequency. Separate frequency.
So, sir, when I don't watch the channel, suppose if I'm in channel, if I'm watching channel one,
Mhm.
2 to 6 channels will also data will be transmitted, right?
No. You are switching from one channel. You cannot watch two channels. There are technologies in the TVs where you can watch 2 to 3 different channels. In that case, only the channels which you are using, only that frequencies will be used. Other frequencies will not be in use.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Sir, there is a channel like 1 video, 2 video, and 7/8 data. Is that standard for all types of cable networks?
No. It's not a standard. It is based on different channel network cable network providers. It's just an example which is given to you.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
So,
It can be changed.
so both these technologies are make use of the same copper wire and so then how are we differentiating these technologies, sir?
Which one?
This cable network and DSL, both of them are using copper wire and
Cable network is using, I told you, please make a change of it. Hybrid fiber coaxial cables it is using.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we will see the next one then. We have seen DSL, we have seen cable networks. See, you can, there is a statement here. Data TV transmitted at different frequencies over shared cable distribution network. Cable modem transmission system. It is CMTS in short, cable modem transmission system. Yeah, this is a detailed view of your cable modem. You can see from basically it is called as an head end. You can from your home, connectivity will go to the head end or to the central office, and this is cable or DSM. Same thing. DSM model also will look the same way, but the wires or the cables used there is quite different. This is generally what we see in the home network. Okay, routers, it can be routers, firewalls, or NAT, network address translator. We will see network address translator later, what it is. About the firewall also we'll be discussing later.
Sir,
Yeah.
so in our home, DSL modem will be there or only router?
You can see in the diagram here, often combined in a single box. Both modem and router will be combined in a single box most of the times. Okay. In olden days, with the old technology, you used to get modem which is different and a router which is different, but nowadays both will be in a single setup box, I can say, or it can be called as a modem. Modem is basically modulator and demodulator. Okay. So wireless access points that acts as a wireless access point also. Wi-Fi modem, we say Wi-Fi modem, right? That acts as a wireless access point also. From your laptop to that wireless access point, the connectivity will be 54 Mbps. Nowadays, basically, but now it is you have 1 Gbps links also. Okay, and if it is a wired connection, we use RJ45 cable. You might have come across this RJ45 cable. So that will give up to 100 Mbps again, which is a very old technology. Now we have 1 Gbps links. Even in our campus also, you have systems, you have desktops in the labs, right? That those desktops are connected to the a switch basically. So through a RJ45 cable, and that supports 1 Gbps link. Okay. Till switch, your connectivity will be 1 Gbps, and when your data goes out of your network, it is what you have paid for. Say for example 10 Mbps or 20 Mbps, 100 Mbps. Is it clear, students, about the home network? Any questions regarding this?
So about the labs in our college, you were telling like the desktops will be connected to a switch, and then till switch the like through RJ45 cable, and till switch it will be like 1 GB per second speed. So
Yeah.
why is it the speed varying, sir? Something you told like 10 Mbps after the switch when we are going to a wider network. So it is based on the cable we are using, sir. What are we using?
No, I'll tell you. Here it is called as a Ethernet technology inside a LAN. See, in the home network, for example, in my home, I have a router. Okay. And for that router, I have connected a desktop through RJ45 cable. And for that router, it's a Wi-Fi router. Okay. And for that router, I have connected 2 mobiles and 2 laptops also. Okay. Now you can imagine 5 different systems are connected to, say, let me write a diagram so that you will clearly understand. Okay, so this is a router what I have. Okay, this is a modem. Okay, this is a Wi-Fi modem, so I will draw like this. Okay, and from this Wi-Fi modem I have a direct RJ45 cable connectivity to a desktop. Okay, and I have 2 laptops which are connected to this. Okay, and these 2 laptops are wireless connectivity. Okay, keep that in mind. These 2 laptops are connected wireless, and I also have 2 phones which are connected to it. Okay, now 5 systems are connected to this as of now. Okay, so this is a Wi-Fi modem. Okay, so now this is your home network. That means this is a LAN. This is just a LAN now, local area network. Okay, and from this router, a connection goes to the internet. Let me write it as internet. Internet in the sense it will go to service provider. Okay, so something like this I have written. Now, from this system, from this laptop, connecting to this router will be 54 Mbps according to this example. Okay, so let us keep it will be more also with new technologies. From this desktop, connectivity to this router will be 100 Mbps. Okay, because obviously a wired connection will give you more efficient bandwidth. It supports more efficient bandwidth. Okay, or you can consider it as 1 Gbps also. Okay, with the new technology, 1 Gbps links also. Of course, it is with the cable also. Cable also has to support. In our campus, these systems which are connected to a switch, it is not directly to a modem. That we will come to that. We will come to the institutional networks later. But I'm telling you, the systems which are there in our campus are connected to a switch, and that is through 1 Gbps link. Okay. Now this is inside your network, right? But this data, when it comes to this router, has to go to the internet, to a Google server. Okay, there comes the part of ISP, Internet Service Provider. So say for example, you are connected to the BSNL Internet Service Provider. Okay, so when you are connected to the BSNL service provider, so you are paying them for, say for example, 50 Mbps link. That this is the 50 Mbps link what I am telling you. This is the 50 Mbps link what I am telling you. This is for which you are paying. Is that clear? Inside your network, whatever it is, whatever the speed is, it is, you are not paying anything for that, because it is a LAN, local area network, for you, only for your network. Okay. But if when you want to transfer some data outside your network, you have to get an internet connectivity, and that will be obviously less compared to your inside a network connectivity. I told you, inside a network in our campus, we have, from all the LANs, will have 1 Gbps connection. Do you think we have for the outer network also have 1 Gbps connection? No, because we cannot pay so much, and even BSNL doesn't support 1 Gbps connections at all. Right? Is it clear to you now?
Also, we can, another justification we can give, like inside the LAN it can be wired, so it can be faster, whereas outside from like LAN to ISP provider, it will be wireless, so it will be less also, and because we have to accommodate more.
No, it is not the case. I told you here, right? In my network also, see, in your campus, you sit with your laptop and connect to campus network, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
That is also LAN. That is also LAN. You are connecting to this access point there. You are connecting to this access point. Okay. So that is also LAN. That will be faster. But when it goes to the internet from your system, see, you are connected to your laptop. From laptop, you are trying to connect to internet. Will you directly connect to the internet service provider from your laptop? No, not possible, because that has to be connected to the access point first, and access point will be connected to the internet service provider. Okay, it can be wired or wireless. We are not worried about it, but it will be the outside internet speed will not be as faster as you have in LAN. Okay.
How that speed will be affecting us, because we anyway will be having 1 GB per second now, sir. How do that 50 MB per second can affect us, sir? Like, how will we get to know the difference, whether it is fast or slow?
You try to send a message or information from your system to another system in the same LAN.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you will get to know the speed there. You can calculate the speed there. Okay, and you try to, yeah. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then you try
Yes,
to,
sir.
and from your system, you try to connect to Google server and see the speed there. If you check the speed, if you calculate the speed using a packet capturing tool, we will see that in the labs, we will test it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sir, router and firewall, are those physical or virtual, sir?
Physical.
Okay.
Sir, in this diagram, yeah. So, like in the previous diagram, there was a splitter, and then the modem. One went to the modem, and the other one went to the internet connection, sir.
Yes.
But then here it is coming through the modem. Like, why is
See,
it?
I'll write a telephone here. I'm not a good artist, but let me write it. Consider this as a telephone. And
Yes.
from here there is a splitter. Okay, if you have a telephone in your home, or if you are having a cable modem in your home, and you say, for example, here, if you have a DSL modem, this is the setup. From telephone, a connection will come to the splitter. From DSL modem, a connection will come to the splitter. If you have a cable modem, then you have a TV here. You have a TV here, and this TV, from the TV, a cable has to come, right? And that will go to the splitter. That's what you have seen, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is not there in this diagram, but that is how the setup will be.
Okay, sir.
Sir, just one small doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, when we are talking about the Ethernet connection between that router and that PC,
Yeah.
so is that a specific like, is it copper cable, or like how we studied in the last model, hybrid fiber coaxial?
Generally it will be copper cables, RJ45 cables. It's a
Okay,
very
sir.
old standard which we are following, and that provides you very high speed. So there is no need for going to any other type of cables. I told you, in our campus, from the desktops to the switch, there are RJ45 copper cables which provides you 1 Gbps connectivity. So that is more than enough.
Sir, and how we have this router, and then there's one more router on the left, right? Like, they often combined in the single box. Is that like one secondary router, sir, or like is it the main router?
No. See, this is a home network. Consider your home network.
Sir.
If you have internet connectivity in home, you might not see two different devices. You will see only one device combined together. You call it as router or you call it as modem, right?
Yes, sir.
But in a few years back, that was not a combined device. You used to get two separate. One works as a router.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that's what it is mentioned here.
So basically, what is in the middle, the router, firewall, NAT? So that's in the office, or that's also at home only, sir?
That will be in your home network itself. Router, firewall, NAT.
So that is all combined
has
as
to be
one.
there.
Okay. Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So now let us come to the enterprise access network, students. You can see here. So this is, say, for example, your institutional network. See, you have an access point for your laptops to be connected. Say, for example, you sit in the lab. You are not using the desktop which is there in your lab, but you are using the laptops which you have. You are connected to this access point, wireless access point, and this wireless access point is connected to the switch. Okay. See, when you walk into the labs in the 5th floor, right opposite to the main door of the 5th floor lab, you can see a room where you see a lot of switches located in racks, right? So all the systems in the lab will be connected to that switches which are there in the racks. Okay. Why? Because a normal basic switch can connect up to 24 systems to it. 24 systems. It will have 24 ports. A basic switch, I'm telling you. Similarly, if you connect two basic switches, you can have 48 systems connected to it. If you go for a next type of switch, you will have 48 systems which you can connect 48 systems, like that. It depends on the switch capabilities. Okay. So all the systems in our lab are connected to this switch directly with the cable. We call it as RJ45 cable. Okay. Through RJ45 cable, it is connected to the switch. If you are using laptop, obviously there should be a access point, wireless access point. You cannot directly connect your laptop to this switch. It is not possible because switch only connects through cables. Your laptops has to be connected to this access point. Through this, that access point is connected to this switch. Okay. Now, From switch, where it will go. So you might have, we have a institutional mail server also, we have AMS server also. So all these are again connected to switch, Ethernet switch. Okay, so those switches will be directly connected to a router. Okay, this router is located in the ICTS department. Okay, systems there in all different labs are connected to different switches, and all these switches will come and connect to a router which will be there in the ICTS. That will be the edge router of our network. This might be a separate virtual LAN. We call it as virtual LAN. This might be a separate virtual LAN, but put together all these are a single local area network. Up to here, single local area network. And this is the border router for this local area network. And from this local area network border router, your requests will go out of the campus, say for example to the internet. Okay, so institutional link to ISP, internet service provider, or you can say internet. And this is the institutional router. These are the institutional mail servers or web servers. These are the institutional switches. You can see typically used in companies and universities. 10 Mbps, 100 Mbps, 1 Gbps, 10 Gbps transmission rates, where inside a network. Okay, that's what I told you. Inside a network, it can be 10 Mbps, 100 Mbps, 1 Gbps, also 10 Gbps. We have in our campus 1 Gbps links from this system, desktop to this switch, desktop to this switch, desktop to this switch. Okay, then today end systems typically connect to Ethernet switches. That's what this is, the Ethernet switch. So let me write another diagram also for you to understand. So consider these are end devices. These are end devices. So these end devices are directly connected to a switch. Okay, these end devices are directly connected to a switch through RJ45 cable. If you have a wireless modem or access point, if you have an access point, you can connect laptops also for this. Okay, you can connect laptops also wirelessly. That means without wires you can connect laptops to this access point, but this access point will be wired connection to this switch. So this is your local area network, and you have 1 Gbps link here or 100 Mbps link, whatever it is. It depends on what Ethernet technology you are using. And then this switch is connected to a router. This router will give you connection to the outer internet. Okay, so this is your local area network. Local area network. Am I clear, students? Am I clear?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
sir, can we have wireless switch?
No. There are, but in our campus we don't have a wireless switch, and generally wired switch are more effective compared to wireless switch. This access point itself is called as a wireless switch basically. That is also doing the same thing, right? If you don't have a switch, if you don't have these systems, you can directly connect this.
Just a modem, no sir, modem.
That's what. It can be it works as a switch also. A modem router put together, you saw in the previous diagram, right? You can directly connect this access point to this router, or this router and access point can be put together as a similar device. You can directly connect this access point to the internet service provider outside.
Yes sir.
Okay, students, so we will stop here. We will continue in the next class. Okay, you have any questions?
Sir, when we say that 10 Mbps, 100 Mbps, these are all the transmission rates, is it exactly 100 Mbps or up to 100 Mbps speed?
No, generally in Ethernet you will definitely get that speed. It is not up to.
Okay, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll stop here, students. We'll continue in the next class. Okay. Do we have a class tomorrow?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Then we are going to meet after your
Winter vacation.
Okay, enjoy your winter vacation. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you.